for the to talk about the Circuit of the Americas NASCAR Cup Series race. I'm also testing some stuff out to hopefully be back doing the live reaction streams as the races are going on next week for the NASCAR IndyCar doubleheader at Phoenix International Raceway. I don't know if what that means for if I'll do the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race after the IndyCar race, but I will definitely be doing the IndyCar race next weekend, or at least attempting to, assuming that all this stuff works, along with the Cup race. But yeah, I basically just took the week to try and test some different stuff. I don't know why what I'm doing right now appears to be working, but I'm not going to question it because it appears to be working. So, welcome on in. I do have chat up, so if anyone ends up typing anything in, I should be able to see that. I'm also going to keep an eye on the battery, and we should be all good to go. But yes, we did have an exciting and action-packed weekend of racing, from trucks and IndyCar at St. Petersburg to the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race at COTA, which I didn't actually get to see that one, so bear with me if I don't have a whole lot to say about that one. And then the NASCAR Cup Series Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas as well. I think we'll just go in chronological order. We'll talk about the trucks first. It was really cool to see Dario Franchitti get to race in the trucks, and actually looked fairly competitive throughout the race. In fact, let me go ahead and pull up the actual race results from the trucks. So yeah, I'm planning on this being, by the way, about a half hour to 45 minutes. If you guys have any comments, I will try and get some at the end of the stream. But yeah, so Dario Franchitti was running up inside the top 10, top 5, up in and around the top 10, top 5 most of the afternoon until he had some sort of issue that ended up putting him a full lap down. But ultimately, Lane Riggs was able to rise from the group of Ford trucks, because there were 4 of them right at the front of the field in St. Petersburg, Florida. Lane Riggs ends up winning it over Majeski, Rhodes, Chandler Smith, and Caden Honeycutt, the top non-Ford. And a little bit of a shout out to a guy I feel like we almost never actually have a reason to talk about, Landon Lewis, the top Chevy driver on the streets of St. Petersburg for the Truck Series. So, giving credit where credit is due, Landon Lewis, top Chevy driver in the Truck Series race there. But going to some of our kind of IndyCar crossovers, we had former IndyCar drivers Colin Braun, Dario Franchitti, James Hinchcliffe, and we also had Adam Andretti making his second Truck Series start in a row. So we had those 4 names. Again, I think Dario was probably the most competitive of them. Again, had a mechanical issue late, ends up finishing 27th. Colin Braun and James Hinchcliffe both come home with top 10 finishing efforts after Hinchcliffe got a top 3 starting position, courtesy of qualifying being rained out. Adam Andretti ends up finishing 23rd after a 10th place starting position. He kind of just had an average day. I feel like that 5-car Tricon has always been the poster boy for, are you really on the same plane with the All-Star truck and the 11 truck? And then, yeah, it always ends up being a significant step back, no matter who's been in that car, whether it's been Dean Thompson, whether it's been Tony Breitinger, or anybody else. It feels like it's just been a manufacturally different car compared to the others. And some of the other drivers I wanted to highlight, though, you got Justin Haley, who got a runner-up finish to the to Shane Van Gisbergen at the Chicago Street Course. I don't remember which Chicago Street Course race that was. Was that last year's? I think it was last year's. But yeah, Haley had a runner-up finish to SVG at the Chicago Street Course during one of SVG's wins. And Connor Mozak, the pole sitter, both coming home just inside the top 15. And really, there's a surprisingly low kind of attrition rate. I mean, In total, you had 24 drivers finish on the lead lap. Kind of headlined at the very back there by the 12 of Brendan Queen. Again, I literally got home as they were throwing the checkered flag, so I was purely listening to I was purely listening to this one on the radio. Yeah, but yeah, I don't remember Brendan Queen doing much of significance. I'm kind of curious to see how his road course racing is when I actually get the chance to sit down and watch an actual Truck Series road course race. But that will be something to keep an eye on in the future. But yeah, ultimately though, the Truck Series race, it was all right. Your stage winners were Ben Rhodes and Lane Riggs. No real surprises, but that'll give a chance for us to prove that. That'll give us a chance to just kind of highlight the fact that Dario Franchitti did earn stage points in both stages, 6th and 8th respectively in the 2 stages. The only All-Star driver to actually be in the stage points. So, yeah, credit to them. And Landon Lewis, once again, he got 3rd in both stages too. Great job on him. But again, that's enough about trucks. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the IndyCar race. I feel like we all pretty much knew how this was going to go. I did say on the Lap Down podcast, which I don't think we ever got uploaded just because we were having technical issues this past week. I said that I thought Kyle Kirkwood might be the one guy that could upset the Palou show, but we were all pretty much on board with Alex Palou, and he runs away and wins by 12 seconds. And yeah, it was not particularly close. So good job to Alex Palou starting off the NTT IndyCar Series season with a win at St. Petersburg. McLaughlin, Lundgaard, Kirkwood, Pato O'Ward, the other drivers inside the top 5. Another one that I wanted to give a shout out to because I was watching this race. In particular, I was watching the second half of this race on my phone while I was at a Pokemon tournament yesterday. Dennis Hauger actually impressed me with how well he was driving. So Dennis Hauger, he ends up finishing back in 10th place, which isn't too bad, especially as I believe he's driving for Dale Coyne. So that was pretty cool to get to see. Just leading down the list, you have guys like Scott Dixon, Will Power, Santino Ferrucci, all ending up out of the race. In fact, Santino Ferrucci and Schumacher were out on lap number 1. So, again, I haven't gotten a chance to go back and rewatch that one to see what happened there, but it's not often you see Scott Dixon crash, and, well, he crashed at St. Pete this week. Will Power, his first race with the new team, just past the halfway mark, he ends up DNFing. And again, Santino Ferrucci and Mick Schumacher out on lap 1. Hopefully we get to see more of them next week as we head to the Oval. Obviously, the Oval at Phoenix should be a better race for Santino Ferrucci. He's always kind of been more of an Oval guy than he has been a road course guy, but that will be something to keep an eye on next Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fox. If you guys want to watch it, again, we'll be here live as well for that one. But yeah, again, that is the NTT IndyCar Series again. I think we all kind of expected Palou to dominate, and it's a really weird situation because it's like, I don't have a problem with Palou dominating, but man, did some of these road course races get a little stale when the same guy has been dominating. I mean, he won, 8 races last year and has already won a race by 12 seconds to start the year. So, we'll have to keep an eye on that one. But, yeah, let's head on to Circuit of the Americas. All right, there we go. All right, so Circuit of the Americas. Obviously, we had the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race. This one I did not get to see a whole lot of, so I don't really know much of what happened. But, yeah, it was SVG ending up out in front of the field over Austin Hill and nobody else really close. It was a top 5 lockout for Chevy. SVG, Austin Hill, Sammy Smith, Jesse Love, and Corey Day. So a good bounce back day for the Chevys after, well, I guess they technically got the win last week, but after Austin Hill had that ill-advised block on Ross Chastain that led to Austin Hill not getting a win last week, he ends up pulling back a top 5 finish. Jesse Love, who actually got a start in the NASCAR Cup Series race yesterday, was able to pull off a pretty good run there. The top Toyota driver was Brent Cruz, the young rookie there, who will be running most, if not the entire rest of the season in the 19 car. I don't know when his birthday is, because that's been the thing that's held him back, is that he's only 17 years old as of right now, so he can't run. He was not eligible to run tracks like Daytona, tracks like Atlanta these past 2 weeks. But expect to see Brent Cruz in that number 19 car, and I'm curious to see just how much of a comeback charge he can post while trying to charge for the chase to try and make it into the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series chase. Some of the other notable drivers, you had Ross Chastain coming home with a top 10, Brendan Poole with a top 10 finish as well. Sheldon Creed, fresh off his first win of his O'Reilly Auto Parts Series career, comes home in the 11th position. Just kind of looking through. You have Carson Kvapil, who had to move to the 91 car this week as the number 1 car was filled by Connor Zilic, who sat on the pole position, but proceeded to finish 21st. Again, I did not see this race, so I don't know what caused him to finish that far down. But, yeah. Is that real? Wow. Your top Ford finisher. I mean, I know we joke about Ford not having a big presence in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, but Nick Sanchez in 25th place is the highest finishing Ford driver at Circuit of the Americas. Wait a minute. 1 second. He was the only Ford driver in the field. Wow. I didn't realize he was the only Ford in the entire field. 1 second. Qualifying. Okay, so Tyler Gonzalez was also in a Ford who failed to qualify. Only 2 Fords showed up for that race. That is wild. Yeah. If you guys want to hear more about that race, specifically from people who have probably heard the race, feel free to check out the Lap Down podcast now on the Hand Me Another Sports Network. We should be going live later. I believe we are going live later tonight to talk about all things from this weekend. So if you want to hear more than just me and me ramble on some more about the about NASCAR, IndyCar, and all other things motorsports, feel free to check that out down in the description. But yeah, I think that is pretty much everything. I'm just going to take a quick peek at the stage results. Okay, SVG gets 10th in stage 1, and 5th in stage 2, and Connor Zilic does not earn a stage point. Wow. Again, I gotta go back and see what on earth happened there, because that is a shocking. Yeah, that is shocking that Connor Zilic didn't earn a single stage point. I mean, he finishes on the lead lap in 21st place, so I don't know what happened to him in that position, but that was horrendous. All right, well, but we are going to go ahead and move right along into probably the meat and bones of the of this one, which is going to be the NASCAR Cup Series. I'm going to go ahead and throw up over here on the side. We've got our top 15 drivers that we're going to go ahead and talk about with the race results. But as you guys can kind of tell from the thumbnail, Tyler Reddick wins his 3rd race in a row to start the NASCAR Cup Series season off. The first driver in NASCAR history to win 3 straight Cup Series races to start the year. That is just an incredible job by Tyler Reddick. And honestly, he drove a masterful race down the stretch. I was watching that battle between himself and SVG, and he was able to hold SVG at bay. And SVG even down the stretch said that his grip compared to the grip in his tires was definitely worse than Tyler Reddick's down the stretch there. So SVG may have needed a caution flag to try and catch back up. Problem is, a caution flag would have almost certainly opened the door for some of these other drivers, your Christopher Bell, your Ty Gibbs, and your Michael McDowell, who were all charging on fresh tires. Ultimately, weren't able to get higher than third, fourth, and fifth, but all three of them on fresher tires. If we'd gotten an overtime finish, I'd be willing to bet that we might be talking about a Christopher Bell, a Ty Gibbs, or a Michael McDowell win here, which, as you guys know, I would have absolutely lost it if Michael McDowell won, and especially if I wasn't live broadcasting to call it. I would have been really disappointed, but all in all, it was a really good race throughout it. Yeah, I mean, start to finish, this race was really good. You had, again, you had the weird thing of the stages, where especially now that there's no bonus points for the chase available with the stage wins. You're seeing more and more drivers inside that top 10 willing to give up the stage wins in order to set themselves up for track position, especially the stage 2 finish. I mean, this is not to discredit guys like Daniel Suarez or AJ Allmendinger, who got top 4 in the stage off of not pitting, but only the top 4 drivers in the stage didn't. The top 4 in the stage plus Cole Custer in 8th were the only drivers in stage 2 that did not pit to try and flip the stage. Everybody else came to pit road, made a pit stop. Now in stage 1, there were more drivers kind of looking to like, hey, let's lock in, let's secure some points here before we get too lost in the weeds. But once we got back around to once we got back around to stage 2, where it's like, okay, this is your last guaranteed chance at a caution flag, everybody was pretty much everybody that was competitive in the field was flipping the stage, trying to get a better end result. So again, I think this just brings up a better question about the guaranteed cautions, especially at the road courses. Again, I get that, and my buddy Jamie on the podcast, we've talked about this a couple times, where it's like, okay, and say he remembers the days at Dover. Now, again, I haven't necessarily I've even said I'd be okay with doing it at just the road courses, like they tried to do a couple of years ago. But yeah, when it comes to the ovals, I'd be okay with leaving the stage cautions in. But the road courses, the stage cautions just cause for so much of that flipping of the field that makes for very unnatural results in running orders. And yeah, it gives us a chance to shout out guys like a Daniel Suarez or a Cole Custer, who maybe we weren't going to talk about otherwise, but it means that your best drivers are literally forfeiting points because they know that it's going to be that much. It's going to be, one, hard to come back through the field, and two, they don't want to give up a ton of track position just because. So it's a very odd situation to be in. But getting back to the finish of the race, we also had guys like Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, some of your typical road course stars. Honestly, the entire top 10, outside of Denny Hamlin, I feel like the entire top 10 are all guys you could probably look at and say, yeah, those are pretty expected road course results. Denny Hamlin, not typically the greatest of road course racers, so a little bit surprising to see him up there near the end, but he is a great driver in a very good car. Bubba Wallace, I believe, despite an 11th place finish, will holds on to the second place in points, as Chase Elliott is now only 2 points behind Bubba Wallace, though, for that second place in the for the overall point standing. So that will be something to keep an eye on here. Kyle Busch, I feel like the crew chief, Kyle Busch and his crew chief actually had a pretty good run down the stretch to go ahead and make that car better, which is, again, if you're a Kyle Busch fan like me, you've been frustrated with the signs and one of those things where it's like, okay, come on, we got to find something for Kyle Busch for Kyle Busch fans to take positivity out of. I think the 12th place finish where they made the car better throughout the day, I think that is a great sign of positivity to fall back on going forward. Then you got guys like William Byron. Connor Zilic, as a part of his rookie campaign, gets a 14th place finish. Not bad at all. And Joey Logano rounding out your top 15. All in all, again, the Cup race, it wasn't bad. I kind of wish that they were running the full circuit or that they went and made more changes to it, because my biggest problem with Circuit of the Americas as is was never kind of that long straightaway with the pointed corner that they kind of cut off with the national circuit that they were running this year. For me, it's always been that kind of super hairpinny section in and around the in like the stadium section that they as they advertise it. The part where you have the three back to back hairpin corners. Now I will say it did look like they were able to carry a little bit more speed through there than I'd seen in previous years when I was watching the run to the checkers, but still, I feel like you could make that section kind of flow a little bit better, allow the drivers to carry a little bit more speed through that section, especially. And say if you carry a little bit more speed into some of those into that braking zone, will make it for an even better passing zone. Which, better passing zones I think is one of the biggest things that would make Circuit of the Americas even better for NASCAR. I understand the hairpins make for amazing open wheel and Formula One style competition, as their cars are lightweight, high acceleration machines. It just isn't as applicable to the NASCAR Cup Series, as the NASCAR Cup Series is big, heavy, stock cars, low acceleration, high top speed. So, just something to keep an eye on. But those are the results from COTA. The only other thing I think we have to talk about is I do want to dive into the point standings as we get ready to head on into kind of the first regular or traditional oval of the year. Yeah, because obviously we've had 2 super speedways and now a road course to start the year. Tyler Reddick has absolutely decimated the wins column with 3 wins, 70-point lead over Bubba Wallace currently for the points lead. Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, and even SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen, having a top 5 in points after 2 plate races and a singular road course race that he didn't even win, is an incredible statistic. Great job, Shane Van Gisbergen, on that one. And say he is currently tied in points with Joey Logano. Then you've got guys like Suarez, Allmendinger, and McDowell, who I expect will probably may struggle at a track like Phoenix. Now, if they can manage to come out of Phoenix with a good top 10 day, maybe we can start talking about their potential to maybe hang on. And if they can exit the West Coast swing here with Phoenix and Vegas these next 2 weeks, if they can get 2 good finishes there, then I think we can really start to talk about, okay, can they hold on for a chase spot? But ultimately, I think those 3 are all probably up there, mostly because of the fact that we've been to 3 very different style of tracks with the 2 super speedways and the road course, which just happened to fall into their wheelhouse. Carson Hocevar, he's had a really good start to his season, coming home currently in the 10th place in points through 3 races. Buescher and Keselowski, 2 of the RFK cars. Brad Keselowski on a broken leg, still managing a top 12 points position at the current moment. William Byron 13th. He's gonna Byron is someone who needs a bounce back month, I think. Then we've got Zane Smith, who's had a pretty good start to the season. Unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna be enough to last. I'd love to see Zane Smith be able to keep a playoff spot, but it's just there are too many good names behind him in the overall standings that, yeah, it's going to be way too hard for him to hold him off. Speaking of which, Kyle Larson in 15th, only 2 points behind him, going to be absolutely storming to the front of the field. Once we get to some of the more traditional ovals, I'm curious to see how Larson bounces back after what has been a somewhat slow start. But again, plate tracks have never been his forte, and he had just an all right day at COTA. I mean, we did talk about it, top 10 finish, 6th place, but not enough to overcome the struggles at Daytona. Then we had Ryan. We currently have Ryan Prix over Ty Gibbs by 3 points for the final playoff spot, for the final chase position. Those two, I think, are going to be a really entertaining battle throughout the season, seeing if Ty Gibbs can earn a spot in the chase. Meanwhile, Ryan Prix is out here trying to earn himself a job for next year. As Ryan Prix, I believe that 60 car does not have a charter next year. Now, can they go out and get a charter? Yeah, maybe. Is it guaranteed? Probably not, and we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening there. But those are two drivers I'm going to be keeping an eye on throughout the season. A couple of other notable names just outside the notable names outside the chase as of right now. You've got Ross Chastain in 20th position, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell in 23rd and 24th. Kyle Busch actually in 22nd should also get a mention there. Chase Briscoe in 27th. Again, the Joe Gibbs Racing as a team has had a really bad start to the year to the point where Ty Gibbs is actually currently the best Toyota driver in points. That is a little bit shocking. And then on the less surprising notes, you have guys like Connor Zillage, who is a Cup Series rookie. He is currently 32nd in points. Not a big surprise to see him having a little bit of a rough start again. It's his first year in the Cup Series. And then Alex Bowman at the very tail end of the field. Again, going into his home track at Phoenix, and as we get into some of the more traditional ovals of the season, I'd be curious to see how Bowman kind of bounces back from what has been a really rough start. But I guarantee that these say that kind of result and being 36th, dead last in points amongst full-time drivers is not going to do anything to quiet the Bowman needs to be replaced crowd on the on NASCAR Twitter. But let me see, where did he actually finish in this week's race? Alex Bowman 36th. Okay, yep. Another one I wanted to just give a shout out to is part-time driver Jesse Love making his first start of the NASCAR Cup Series season, gets up into the 27th position here at Circuit of the Americas. But all things considered, I think that is pretty much everything. Let's go ahead and just look at. I'm going to look at the O'Reilly Auto Parts and Truck Series Championship pictures at the moment. And we got Austin Hill leading over Jesse Love. Shock and surprise, considering those two dominated the plate tracks, although they didn't get the win at Atlanta. They still dominated and earned a ton of stage points there. Sheldon Creed, Carson Kvapil, and Allgaier, some of the other names inside the top 5 in the championship hunt. Around the cut line to make it into the chase, you've got Brennan Poole, Taylor Gray, William Sawalich, some of those names to keep an eye on near the bubble. And for the trucks, you've got you've got Chandler Smith, the Daytona winner, leading the way in the points, followed by Ben Rhodes and Ty Majeski, a couple of the Thor Sport superstars. Gio Ruggiero doing pretty well, though, and this past week's winner, Lane Riggs, finds himself up into the top 5. Caden Honeycutt, not the top point getter on his team. A little bit surprising here early on, although we could absolutely see that be changed going in, again, as we start to get into more of the traditional oval, something that might be more Caden Honeycutt style. But so far, though, early on in the season, Gio Ruggiero having a very good start. The best of the Dodge drivers right now is Brendan No, it's Justin Haley over Brendan Queen by a singular point. The two of them and Daniel Dye are all separated by a total of 3 points. So, again, it is going to be a tight race to see which of those truck drivers ends up being the best. Then you got Minnie Tyrell, who is in 20th place on points, the only other full-time driver in the Dodge truck program. Again, as a rookie in stock cars, it's not a big surprise to see him kind of lacking behind. One other thing I wanted to see is where is number 19? Brent Cruz currently sits 28th after one race in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. He is 31st, so that means he would need to earn, he has 31 points. He would need to earn approximately, he'd need to gain he's about 40 points down on the cut line right now in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Now, after a really good run at Circuit of the Americas, I wouldn't put it past Brent Cruz, a 6th place finish there. I wouldn't put it past Brent Cruz to go ahead and bump his way in, and I think that will be an entertaining story to watch down the stretch, assuming he's able to run the remainder of the races. Again, I don't know when he turns 18 and will be able to run the big plate tracks, but I think that is pretty much everything, though. Hopefully everybody's had a good day. Again, everything on my end appears to be working, so I believe this should be a good sign for the for next week. Again, we are planning on trying to stream at least the IndyCar, the NTT IndyCar Series race at Phoenix alongside the NASCAR Cup Series race. O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race, we will keep that one as a probably, but I'm just going to say that one will probably have to be called on the fly because we don't know where the how all the battery stuff appears to be working, but for whatever reason, what I'm doing right now is working, so I'm not going to question it. So if you guys have any questions you guys want to ask about the NASCAR season or about the channel in general, feel free to pop them in. I'll stay alive for about 5 minutes or so, and yeah, we are. But yeah, the NASCAR season is in full swing now. Again, Phoenix, we got Phoenix and Vegas upcoming. Then we head back east for Darlington. In March, heading up Darlington, Martinsville, Rockingham. Oh, sorry, that's O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. So yeah, Phoenix, Vegas, Darlington, Martinsville. Okay, we do head to all those, and then off week for Easter. Then we go ahead and then we got Bristol. We got Bristol, Kansas, heading through there. Now, if you're a fan of the Craftsman Truck Series, I'm just gonna say a blanket apology for everybody here because the Craftsman Truck Series has an abysmal season here. Like, they had 3 races in a row, 3 weeks in a row. Great momentum to build off of. Then they're off for almost a month. They'll be back March 20th for Darlington. Then they'll be racing Friday at Rockingham Easter on Good Friday. And then they get to race back-to-back weeks for the first time in literally 2 months. Then they're off from the 10th all the way through to May 1st at Texas Motor Speedway. Then they come back and are racing pretty much weekly throughout the month of May. They get 2 races in a row to start the month of June, it looks like. No, they have an off week in June. But then they go and have a nearly full month break before Lime Rock Park in Connecticut. And yeah, they continue to have more and more breaks in the Truck Series schedule. So that is an unfortunate part to it. Again, the No Apps or NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series follows the Cup Series pretty much every single week, including dates like the Mother's Day weekend race at Watkins Glen. But again, if you're a Truck Series fan, if you're a fan of following the Dodge stuff, you're gonna have a really I hope you guys can get interested in some of the stuff going on in the NASCAR Cup or O'Reilly Auto Parts series. Again, I recommend checking out the other series that NASCAR has to offer, along with check out some of the IndyCar stuff, because the IndyCar series, especially at the short ovals like Phoenix this upcoming week, are going to be electric. So, and not electric vehicles. I realize how that might sound to some people who are big on the high horsepower, but no, the last time the IndyCars raced there, I believe they were over 200-mile-an-hour lap averages at Phoenix. So again, there's a lot of cool things coming up in the world of motorsports. Hopefully, you guys will keep tuned in. Again, I don't know if we're gonna do some more of these kind of live race recaps the day after. In fact, a week from today, I'm gonna actually be having a surgery done. So yeah, again, I don't know for sure what the schedule for non-race day coverage is gonna look like, but at least for the moment, it looks like what we're doing is going to work for the race coverage. So we should be back with that starting next weekend at Phoenix. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this kind of brief impromptu live stream. We've been going for about half an hour, so we will see you guys in the next video. Live stream, whatever you guys do with the rest of your day. Have a great night, everybody. And yeah, again, feel free to check out some of the other racing series around the world. And I will see you guys. Well, if you guys are interested, again, check out the Lap Down podcast later tonight. I believe it will be around 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. But until next time, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next video. Live stream, whatever you guys do with the rest of your night. Have a great night, everybody, and goodbye.